Today is a very good day. This is a day that the Lord has made, and He asks us to rejoice and be glad in it, for the Lord is good. This is a good day. Today is the 31st of the last Sunday. The last Sunday of the month of March. It's a blessing. Some people were not fortunate. Some people made some resolutions just as you did, but for some reason they are not here today. And not because you dot every I or you cause every P. It's just because of the grace of God you find yourself in His presence. So you need to give Him the praise. Amen. Today our reading is going to be coming from Titus. Our reading is going to be coming from the book of Daniel. Daniel chapter 3. And it's going to be in a book. From the book of Daniel chapter 3. If you have it, say amen.
Then Nebuchadnezzar was filled with rage, and the expression on his face changed toward Shadrach,
Meshach and Abednego.
Meshach and Abednego. He gave orders to heat the furnace 7 times more than was customary, and he commanded some of the strongest soldiers in his army to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the furnace of blazing fire. So these men, in the trousers, robes, head coverings, and other clothes, were tied up and thrown into the furnace of blazing fire. Since the king's command was so urgent and the furnace extremely hot, the raging flames killed those men who carried Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell into the furnace of blazing fire. Then the king, Nebuchadnezzar, jumped up in alarm. He said to his advisors, "Didn't we throw these 3 men bound into the fire?" "Yes, of course, your majesty," they replied to the king. He exclaimed, "Look, I see 4 men, not tied, walking around in the fire unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods."
Come on, brother.
Oh, that's it.
That's it? Great. Let us pray. God, we thank you for this opportunity again to be in your presence. So thank you for this time of your word. Your word, it gave light to dark places. Your word continue to strengthen us. As I bring forth your word this morning, I pray that your word will come with clarity to your people. Lord God, hide me behind the cross. May I not say anything that doesn't come from you. Lord God, may I bring forth your word to your people as food for them this morning. Lord God, I pray that your word will fall on fertile ground, that your people will be turned, their life will be revived, they will be strengthened to go another step. I love you, Lord, for what you are doing in this house and what you continue to do in the life of Blueprint International Sanctuary. Again, Lord, we are just imperfect people, choose to serve a perfect God for such a time. Let your word fall in Jesus' name. Let the church say, amen. You can have your seat. If you don't mind, can you please turn off all cell phones? You don't need it right now. As a matter of fact, I've adopted an attitude this week. My cell phone will be off for 4 hours every day. So if my phone is off from between 11 to what? To 3, don't take no offense. Leave me a message. If in an emergency, call my wife. She know how to get to me. Because we need to do that. Because we are bombarded with a lot of stuff every day for social media. And sometimes it's stressful, but you don't see it. So please turn on your cell phone for the next hour. Again, before I proceed, I just want to, I normally want to thank God for the governor and the senators and Congress and the U.S. president for passing that bill on the 28th for all Liberians, which is the TPS and the DED, which is the temporary protected status, and the DED, I think it stands for something that has to do with deferred, something enforced departure. As you don't know, some of you may not know, those are people that are on temporary status in the States. They can't work if that status expires. And the 31st, which was today, is supposed to be the last day for millions of Liberians to not have the opportunity to work. And you know, the Liberians community in Minnesota and some other part of the states, they went, one of the strike, very peaceful strike, appealing to the Congress and the senators and the governor of Minnesota, they came to the aid of the Liberian people, and President Trump were able to extend it to another year. So we give God the glory for that. Give God the glory for that. Yeah, it may be a little thing to some of us who are Americans who have the opportunity to work and live in the country. I remember once upon a time, I was in their situation. I was a student, and you just don't understand what it means. You can't work and can't live illegally. You just don't know it until you find yourself in that situation. It's a very tough situation to be in. You're scared. Every door that knock, everything that happens, you're on the rage. So for some of you who God has blessed, and God has used other people to break your ear, and those people have become your enemy, let me just tell you, you're close to being a witchcraft. I'm just telling you. If somebody has helped you to break your ear, and now you can work, you can be part of the American dream in the society, and now you consider the people are enemy, you are close to being a witchcraft.
Amen.
I'm serious. Because this is not something easy. They're not perfect people. Maybe they have brought you, maybe your cross path, it didn't go well, but at least they saw it necessary to bring you in. If it's your dad or your mom or your sister, whoever brought you, and now you're forcing with it, you're close to being a witchcraft. You need to call them and tell them, I'm sorry. It was just in my spirit. Because to come to this country is not an easy thing. Some people have risked their lives, risked their financial information, risked their status to get us here. And they wanting to honor our worst enemy. May God forgive us. Amen. God is good. Amen. All the time. Today, if you're looking for the subject for my sermon, my subject or my theme is don't compromise your standard. Amen. Look at your brothers and sisters and say, don't compromise your standard. Don't compromise the standard. Don't compromise your standard. What is a standard? The standard is a way of life, the way you choose to conduct yourself positively, to adhere to society or the system or the norm or certain rules and regulation place in order. And it's so easy that we can compromise our standard based on some things that are temporal and not seeing the bigger picture of the situation. And this morning I come to you from the story of Daniel. Daniel is the book of Daniel, written by Daniel according to biblical history. Daniel is the author. The book of Daniel is revolved around dreams and vision and God's provision to Daniel and his 3 friends. Within the book of Daniel, we see the sovereignty of God. We see God is orchestrating every step of these Hebrew boys according to the text. The book of Daniel also show you how God displays his innovation within situations that have to deal with Daniel and his brothers, dealing with their ethics, their way of life. The book of Daniel is a very powerful book. I like the book of Daniel because historically, this book deals with events, but prophetically, the book of Daniel points you and I to Jesus Christ. So when you read the historical event of the book of Daniel, it gives you a clear understanding of the prophetic as to what's going to happen in the last days. Let me just give you the background as to what is going here. King Nebuchadnezzar he went and invaded Jerusalem. He captured Jerusalem, he was the king of the Babylonians. He was from Babylon. He captured Jerusalem, and then when he took hold of Jerusalem, he told his guys that families of strong men that serve in the palace of Jerusalem, men who are of no physical defect, men who are pretty much intelligent, smart, farming those men and bring those men to the palace in Babylon so they can serve me. So what he was doing, he was taking some smart guys that was working in the temple in Jerusalem, and now after he captured the temple, he said, find me some smart guys, bring them over to Jerusalem so they can serve me and in my temple. And now within that group we have these guys had no physical limitation. They were handsome, good-looking guys. They were very intellectual. They were well-formed. They were quick to understand. They was the brain of the days. So what happened, the guys were captured. And among those guys, we have who we call Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Now, that wasn't their actual name. Now, the three were Daniel, still kept his name, but the three others, their names were not Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The other, the first one had a Jewish name, and his name was Hananiah. Hananiah, innocent, means Yahweh has been gracious. So Shadrach's name was Hananiah. And then when we see Shadrach's name, he was giving, his name was changed for Hananiah. God has been gracious. So he was changed to Shadrach. Shadrach that represents the God of the moon. So he changed the name for Hananiah to Shadrach. And Hananiah means God is gracious. And Shadrach means in Babylonian life or in the history, it means what? The son of the what? The moon. And he changed Meshach. Meshach's name was Meshach, which means who is what God. That means who is what God is. That's what it means in Hebrew. And changed his name to what? To Meshach. Meshach means I am of little account. So he starts switching the names. So he starts switching the Hebrewic name to a Babylonian name. And then Abednego, his name was what? Azariel. Azariel means Yahweh has helped. He changed his name from Yahweh has helped to Abednego, which means seven of the shining one. So what happened is that he started switching their names with the intent of switching their identity. There's something that comes with the name that has been given you. There is something that comes with the power in the name that has been given you. You and I know when we go through life or we go to an airport or with someone, when someone misspell our name or someone mispronounce our name, what do? We correct them instantly, right? No, that's not my name. No, that's not how my name spelled. Because names have a very powerful identity on you. So your names carry a lot of weight. So what he was doing psychologically, emotionally, he was trying to steal the Jewish heritage and give them Babylonian names so they can fit within the Babylonian culture. Look at me and say, my pastor is smart. Is smart. Amen. So why he gave them this name? One thing he failed to understand that the name did not change the conduct and the training they have gotten for Jerusalem. So for some reason, for some crazy reason, King Nebuchadnezzar, it got over him, and he decided to build to make him an image. So he decided to do what? To create an image. And he created. He went and allowed the guys to make him this tall image that was what? That was 60 cubits tall and was 60 cubits long. Now, in the days, they use cubits. We use inches. So the days, 1 cubit is equivalent to 80 inches. So when you time 80 inches times 6 cubits, we're talking about the statues were being 90 feet tall. Man, 90 feet is something tall. So he went ahead and passed the decree. He and his boys. And he passed the decree, this decree. And in the process of doing that, he said, let me go ahead and dedicate the temple. So he decided to go ahead and dedicate the temple. So in dedicating the temple, he called for the counselors, he called for the captains, he called for the sheriff, he called for the governor, the treasurer, the judges, he called for everybody. And don't forget, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, and Daniel were serving in the cabinet of the who? The Babylonians. So they were part of leadership. So he called them. When he called these three guys, Daniel was not around. For some reason, Daniel is not mentioned within this text. What happened? Daniel was, at this point in his life, he was like an advisor to the king. So apparently Daniel was on a mission. Apparently Daniel was somewhere else. Daniel is not mentioned within chapter 3 dealing with the image. So he summed up everybody within his cabinet. He said, meet me at the warehouse. Meet me at the mushroom. And he said, today we're going to dedicate this image. This decree. He said, if anyone, when you hear the sound of the horn, you ought to bow down and worship this image. That was during the dedication. He said, every people, every nation, every language that live in Babylon right now, when the horn sound and the flutes are played and music is being sung, I want everybody to get on the ground and bow down and worship this image. The thing about it is that he has some people that call the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans were like a secret agents among the people. They were like the FBI. So what they were doing, their job was to look around and see who was bowing down. So the Chaldeans, they noticed that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to bow down before the king. So my question is, you know, when you're dealing with a text, you have to do what we call the argumentative analysis of the text. So I asked myself, I said, but what in the world would King Nebuchadnezzar want to build him an image to worship? He already being worshipped. He already in charge. So why would he want to build an image? And what comes to mind, or what the Lord put in my spirit, was he wanted to build, he wanted to build the image for two reasons. The first reason was King Nebuchadnezzar wanted to be rebellious against the God Yahweh. He had every power. He was a king. He had everybody worshiping. But he built the image for two reasons. The first reason, because he wanted to be rebellious against the God of Yahweh. And the second reason he wanted to build an image is because he wanted to be self-promoted. He wanted for people to admire him. Now, church, anytime you build an image in your life, you are putting yourself in the position to either be rebellious or to be self-promoted. Anytime you build an altar that is not an altar for Yahweh, what you're doing, you're putting yourself in the position of wanting to be worshipped or wanting to be self-promoted. So anytime, whatever takes place or whatever take control or whatever take preeminence in your life other than God, is an image. And the reason you do that, because one, you want to be rebellious. That's why you make yourself your image. That's why you make yourself your image. That's why you make other things your image, because you're telling yourself, I don't want to be faithful to Yahweh. So the Chaldeans noticed that. So they went to Nebuchadnezzar, and said, listen, man, I don't know, but you got some very disrespectful guys in this mansion, in this cabinet. And King Nebuchadnezzar said, what's going on? He said, listen, you remember the Hebrew boys? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? When you gave the order that everyone should bow down and kneel down, they refused. They said they're not going to do that. And the king said, what? Are you sure of that? He said, oh yeah. So the Bible said the king was what? Furious. He was mad. Then he sent for the guys. He said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, come on here. They went before the king. So the king, upon hearing that, he went and reaffirmed the penalty of not bowing down. So he asked the boys, is it true that when the horn goes up and the music goes up, is it true that three of you all refuse to bow down? The boys said, yes, we do. Now, let me read it for you. Daniel, verse 16 to 18. Let's look at what it said. Look at verse 16 to 18. Daniel chapter 3. This is the Bible church. The Bible believing church. Then Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury, and the expression on his face changed towards Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He spoke and commanded them that they heat the furnace 7 times more than it was. And he commanded certain mighty men of valor who were in his army to bound Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, to cast them into the burning furnace. what happened? He asked the guys. And after they said, yes, king, we are now what? We are now careful to answer thee in this matter. They said, what they were saying, they said, king, we have weighed the consequences of the matter. We have calculated the cost of not agreeing to the fact that we're going to bow down to the golden image. And king, whatever decision it is, that's okay. And then they, in unison, they said that the God we serve is able to rescue us. And if God doesn't rescue us, we are not going to bow down to the golden image. Let me put a coin in the middle and stop right there. They said to the king, for we know that the God we serve is able to deliver us from the situation, but even if he doesn't deliver us, king, we are not going to bow down to no image. Let me preach a little bit on that. They said, for the God we serve. What makes you think that these kings have the nerve to stand up and say, the God we serve? These guys were teenagers. They were in the 20s to 22, 23. And they look at the king with all the power, with the flame coming. Can you boldly say to your situation? Can you boldly say to wherever it is stalking you and say, bring it on, the God I serve? Amen. Church, when you serve God, there is nothing that you are afraid of. When you serve God, you can look in the face of the president. You can look in the face of anyone. You say, go ahead and do what you want to do. My God will rescue me. But hold on. Just in case he doesn't rescue me, I am not going to yield to that situation. You got to reach to a point to say, enough is enough. I am not going to compromise my standard. They say, even though we're in a foreign country, even though we eat at the king's table, even though we live in the palace, even though we are connected to the cabinet, but there are certain boundaries, king or king, you cannot cross. Their refusal to the king wasn't a sign of disloyalty to the king. Their refusal to the king was letting the king know there's a higher power over you. Their refusal to the king was to let the king know that it's Yahweh that I believe in. Remember, these guys were people that were serving in the house of Jerusalem. So the guys were trained to worship God. They were positioned to worship God. Their dislocation of their environmental stage did not change the concept of who God is. Their dislocation or their reposition of their physical location did not change the priority when it comes to God. Some of you, your changed location, because you changed geographical location, your whole mind has changed. Your whole concept has changed. Now it's the American dream. Now it's to have a big car. Now it's to live in the big house. Now it's to do whatever. You have no standard. Why are you compromising your standard? These guys, the only thing they needed to do was, okay, king, you know what? That fire is hot. That furnace is burning. Okay, king, I don't know what came over our mind, but we're going to worship. If it were you, we are in a system where they're trying to build a one government system for the world. Where Jesus is trying to be part of the picture. It's happening in Europe. Eventually, it's going to migrate to America where we'll have a one-world system. I'll be using chips and what have you to access stuff. If you find yourself in a position where you are asked to compromise your standard, a lot of people compromise the standard. Pastors that people have great respect for, people of great reputation, just because of some petty little cash, they compromise the standard. When was the last time you compromised the standard? When was the last time you allowed a guy take advantage of you, and because you put yourself in a position where he took advantage of you, and you say, you know what, there is no way out, I'd rather fall into it, but forgetting to know that the Spirit of God lives in you, forgetting to know that you're the head and not the tail, forgetting to know that God lives in you, but you compromise your standard with some fools, you compromise your standard with gossip. When was the last time you were in a group and something came up and you raised your voice? We ain't going to talk about that. That's not who I am. We compromise our standard for something little. These guys were part of the government of who? Babylonian government. These kids had access to money. These kids could eat from gold spoons and gold plates. But they told the king, oh, no, don't fool yourself now. Not because we're working here, you think we're going to worship your God. They said, king, don't even mess with that. We appreciate the fact that you took us from among the others and brought us to the White House. We appreciate the fact that we can sit with you in a very short distance and we have a conversation. But when it comes to Yahweh, Yeshua, our God, we ain't going to go that route. And they told the king, said, we're not trying to disrespect you. We're not trying to take advantage of your setup. But that thing, to worship that, to bow down, we were trained. We were positioned and conditioned to bow down to one person. And that person is God. So king, don't waste your time. This is a done deal. They say, king, with all due respect, we're not going to have this conversation. They say, put us in the fire. Even the God we serve, he will never fail us. But just in case, though, if we burn in the fire, that doesn't mean God hasn't abandoned us. That means God still take the glory. Church, something that you have in your life, you got to make up your mind today as you walk this life, as you walk this walk. There are certain things you have to put on your bootstraps for. There are certain things you say, you know what, I'm better than this. Who do you think I am? There are certain things you say, well, don't talk to me like that. There are certain person you need to look in the face and say, enough of your nonsense. I don't compromise that. I see educated people with degrees compromise their standard because of temporary pleasure. They compromise the standard. I see doctors that work 12, 13 years. They compromise the standard of work and they flirt with a little girl, or they take drugs, or they do something and they lose their license. I see married women, 10, 15, 20 years, they compromise the standard. And anytime you compromise the standard, that's being selfish, that's hurting a lot of people. When you compromise your standard, you're not only hurting you, you're hurting every generation that was supposed to come after you. If I compromise my standard right now and walk out of a relationship and get involved in infidelity, I'm not hurting me, I'm not satisfying me, I'm hurting my generation to come. I'm hurting my wife, I'm hurting my kids, I'm hurting my grandkids, I'm hurting my great-grandkids, because it can have a psychological effect on them. Do not compromise your standard. There are certain things you say, forget it. Ain't not happening when it comes to me. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to look in the face of the king and say, King, shut up. It ain't going to happen. I don't care. You can put me in the best hotel. I don't care. You can bring the best limousine. I ain't taking off my skirt. Don't compromise, sister. Don't compromise, sister. That's all you got. You're standing. That's all you got. And they told the king, so go ahead. We'll compromise our stand on that job. They get overtime, and you know you're supposed to be in church on Sunday. And then you take overtime on Sunday morning. You compromise your standard. I'm not here to promote the Muslim faith. When the Muslim man is supposed to go to the mosque, you can pay them $30 an hour. If they were making $10, they will still go to the mosque. They'll tell you, I pray on Friday from the time to the time. No matter who you are, they tell you, I pray on this time, I pray on this time. And they will not miss that. They are very loyal to what they believe. Compromises them. Can you say no to the parties and the video games? Can you say no to the liquor bottle? Can you say no to the drugs? Can you say no? Why we compromise our standard for cheap stuff, for temporary stuff? We compromise today. Can you say no? Going forward, I'm not going to feed my mind with garbage, with the dirty music I play in my car. Can you do that? Church, whatever you put in the mind have very powerful effect to change you. The mind is a very powerful mechanism that God has given you. You can be in poverty and you can change your mind and you can see yourself in riches, and when your mind is changed, you gradually will get out of poverty. The mind is the weapon that the devil uses. Compromise the standard. You're in your 25, 26, 27, you're not married yet, and it's worrying you. And they do come around and say, man, I will marry you before you go low. You involve in premarital sex. You go low, you get 2, 3 children. You compromise yourself because you feel that time is running out. You compromise instead of forgetting to know that God who created you, He created you for the reason and for the purpose, and He got a plan in mind for you. It's just a matter of time that God will bring it into fruition. Just serving. If your mind is not occupied, if you're not occupied, occupy yourself with the service of God. You don't have to get involved in some stuff. You don't have to be shady. You don't have to cut corners with business. You don't have to do this. Occupy your time, your mind, your body. Don't compromise your standard. Stand for where you believe. No, you're not breaking my skirt down. No, you're not taking my pants down until you marry me. No, I'm not walking into that liquor shop with you. No, I'm not walking into that hotel with you. No, 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 no. You don't mess with the body. The body belongs to God. You don't come here for no shady business. If you're here for shady business, walk out. I don't mess with who I am because Jesus lives in me. I know who I am. I know what I stand for. Don't come and tell me who I am. Don't come and misinterpret what you think of who I am. I know who I am. I'm a child of God. I'm a child of the King. I don't settle for little. I don't settle for anything less than what my Father has given me. Just stand in the church. I know I'm a little hard in money. I'm not getting a lot of hallelujah. Praise you. Hey, come on. I'm not going to get a little bit. I'm not going to get a little bit. I'm just letting you know your standard. Your standard. Your standard. Keep your standard. Keep your standard. The Bible says King Nebuchadnezzar, after After getting the word from these three Hebrew brothers, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were in the 20s. I look at 20-year-old, 25-year-old, 22-year-old, the thing to get all life together. It wasn't in my sermon, but let me just give you this for free. You're 20, 25, you're walking around, you get it all together. These guys were teenagers. These guys were teenagers. These guys had all the time to party. They had all the time to go to the club. They had all the time to do whatever they want to do with their life. But the middle of their mind, they say, you know what? We're going to serve Yahweh. I can be 20, I'm going to serve God. I can be 30, I'm going to serve God. You don't know what God's going to call you home. You don't know what God's going to call you home. You don't know what God's going to say your time on this earth is done with. Serve God in your teenage life. I tell you, when you serve God at your teenage life, this is what you're doing to yourself. This is what you're breaking on yourself. When you serve God at your teenage life, you avoid a lot of trouble. Now, when you get in your 30s, you appreciate your teenage life. When you get in your 40s, you will not regret what you did in your 30s. When you get in your 50s, you will not regret what you did in your 40s. Because what? Your life has been orchestrated by God. You can look back and say, well done. Take control of your life, teenagers.
Amen.
We like to keep it real here. That's the kind of pastor you get. I tell teenagers, hey, preserve yourself from premarital sex. Let me talk about that. This is what you do when you, I'm not trying to cast no stone here. I'm not trying to point fingers. If you don't keep yourself from premarital sex, for some reason the Lord wanted me to talk about that. I got 3 girls. This is what happened. Now listen. There's a psychological effect on you until God set you free. If you don't preserve yourself from premarital sex, and God brings the man around, your soulmate for you, and God hook him up with you, you're going to be living with the premarital sex images in your mind. And it causes problem for you to function within your marital home. Because you are being left with some wounds and some Buddha marks. You are being left with some frustration. And you have exposed yourself to a lot of people who are not supposed to have access to you. And now God blesses you with the calm little young boy from a good home, trying to love you and trying to treat you right. But because nobody had ever treated you right, because nobody had ever respected you, because nobody had ever loved you, now you find it difficult to love the people's son. You find it difficult to love this people's daughter. And now you're taking all your Buddha wounds, and you're taking all your souls, and you're taking all your wounds to his long, pure life. And now you put him in a state. Now he's at the mercy of you. Now he's taking all the insults and all the blame. Oh, don't look at me. Don't be quiet. You know what I'm talking about. But that's what I tell you. I tell young people, preserve yourself. You can be married in your 30s and have a good relationship than the person that married in their 20s. You can be married in your 40s and enjoy the other 20 life of your marriage than people that got married in the 30s. It's not how long you got married. It's not how long you've been married. It's when you marry to the right person. Even it can be 40. You will enjoy your relationship like you're in your 20s. Preserve yourself. Keep your standard. Pastor, did you do that with Interpoli? It's none of your business. At least you're in a position for me to tell you to do the right thing. Keep your standard, church. Don't lower down your guards. You see, a lot of people don't like me because they say I preach hard. I got a voice to preach hard. I don't preach hard because I'm better. I don't preach tough because I'm better. I preach tough because I get scars on me. I get scars off on me for not living up to my standard. I regret some things I have done. It's some places that I went. And some people will help my body with. I don't preach tough because I don't love you. Or because I want to condemn you. I preach tough because I know God has a destiny on your life. And you can make a better decision. No matter where you find yourself in. Your relationship not working, stay in and make it work. No one told you so you're going to have an easy way out. Now, unless it's abusive, and it's a totally different thing. But there will always be confusion. There will always be, it happens. Nobody get it right the first and second time. Now the fight in the story is not between King Nebuchadnezzar and the boys. It's a greater fight. The greater fight in this story was between Yahweh and the gods of King Nebuchadnezzar. Just the fight you go through with people is not with you and them. Anytime somebody attacks you, let them know that the fight is way beyond the physical. This is a spiritual thing that is going on in the text. Yahweh and the gods of King Nebuchadnezzar. God, Yahweh is about to prove himself. I like reading the Bible. If anyone ever told you reading the Bible is complicated, it's just because you haven't fallen in love with the Bible. You see how I make it simple in this house? I make it so simple that you can walk out of here. When someone asks you what Pastor preach about, you can just tell the story. So what happened? When they took Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and the Bible said they heated the furnace 7 times harder than what it was. What happened? They took the 3 boys, they bound them in chains, they tied them up. And the Bible says even the guys that took them to put them in the furnace, they got burned and were dead. That's how hot the furnace was. But the Bible said when they threw them down, the darkness went down the furnace with the sound of boom, they landed. When they landed on their feet, and what happened? King Nebuchadnezzar said something is not right. He went and woke up from his chair, and he went and picked his nose down the furnace, and then he called his counselor and said, hold on. There's something is going on. Come on, something going on. Church, I come to let you know. I don't know what kind of furnace they have put you in. I don't know what kind of pit they have put you in. I don't know what kind of hold the dog for you. I don't know what kind of hold the dog for you. My sister just prophesied that the Lord wants to bless this church, but that there are people that hold in this church. There are people at the door stopping people from coming in. I don't know where you are. I don't know who you are. I don't know who you think you are. But whatever furnace they put you in, whatever way they bound you, whatever way they tie you, whatever way they squeeze you, I want you to walk from this place to let yourself know, to strengthen yourself, that no matter where fire they put you in, no matter where hole they put you in, no matter what water you have to walk through, there is always a second man. There is always somebody standing beside you. God wants to vindicate for you. God wants to lift you up. God wants to fight for you. Tell yourself and say, the God I serve is able to eliminate me. The God that I serve, I serve God. I don't know about you. If you fight me, put me in the hole, it's just about a time. Sell me to the Egyptians, it's just about a time. Drive me out of Egypt, it's just about a time. God is going to take you out of that furnace. And Nebuchadnezzar called his counselor and said, come on guys, I thought we put 3 in here. And as a matter of fact, the 3 we put there, they were down. We tied them. Now, because he did not know Yahweh, he said, I see the 4th person as the son of the gods. You read that? He was talking about the gods of the Babylonians. But what he was fetching to realize, the 4th person was the Son of Man, was Yeshua, was Jesus. The 4th person was God Almighty. The 4th person was Yahweh. The 4th person was your God. I don't know about you, church. When you find yourself in the middle of something you don't understand, just imagine and convince yourself that there is a 2nd person that is by you. There is nothing. And King Nebuchadnezzar said, hold on. And what he did, he said, let me make sure. He told him, he said, let me make sure. He said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And they said, yes, sir. He said, are you guys there? He said, yeah, we are, sir. Hey. They thought you have been dead by this time. The devil thought he could kill you. But the little mistake he made was to allow you to live. Every time I go through some stuff in my life, I tell myself, the devil thing by striking me in the left leg was going to kill me. The least mistake the devil made was to allow my mama to give birth.
Hey, I bet.
The least mistake the devil made was to allow me to go through the 9 months.
Yes.
I mean, he could have done what he could have done. And I tell the devil, you had your last shot. And you allowed me to live. The least mistake he made was to allow me to go through the Liberian war and to go through refugee camps and get me where I am.
Amen.
I look at the devil and say the devil is slipped down. I look at Satan in the face and I say it's too late. There's nothing you can do to this body. And I come to encourage you. For you being where you are, reaching where you are, you need to look the devil in the face. You need to look the devil in the face and tell him it's too late. Tell the devil it's too late. You should have got to me now. I mean then. You should have silent me then. But it's too late. Church, wherever hole they put you in, don't just read the Bible, just don't listen to the sermons, and don't understand the magnitude and the power it carries. Whatever valley the devil has put you in, convince yourself, hey, he can do it for me, Shadrach and Abednego, he can do it for you. If he can take them to the fire, he can take you too. I just want to close with this. I don't like this. No matter where you are. You see, when the devil sees destiny on you, he's going to do all he can to interrupt. You remember what happened to Joseph? All Joseph did was to just tell his brother his little nice dream. His nice little dream turned to be his nightmare. Joseph had a dream, wanted to share with his big brothers. He told his big brother it was the last thing Joseph ever did. They slaughtered Joseph from one place to another. Joseph finally made his way to Egypt. He started serving in Potiphar's house. Anytime God about to break through in Joseph's life, something happens. They refuse to compromise the standard. This is what happens when you refuse to compromise the standard. 3 things happen if you refuse to compromise the standard. Number 1, listen to this story. Look at verse 25 to 26. The first thing that happens if you refuse to compromise the standard, God will be acknowledged. Church, what happened? King Nebuchadnezzar, this guy who didn't know God, who had no idea about God, but because the kids refused to compromise the standard, he declared God. He declared God. He said the 3 Hebrew boys stood into this 7 times heat of furnace, and they came out. And in verse 25 to 27, I'll just read it again. He said, look, he answered, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Then Nebuchadnezzar went near the mouth of the burning furnace and spoke, saying, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, servant of the Most High. Church, if you refuse to get into the system of the world will acknowledge the God you serve. You know why God is not being acknowledged in our world? Because we compromise our God. The more you compromise your God, the more people will devalue your God. People not respecting God today, it's not because they don't love God, it's because you're not loving God. He said, we are not going to bow down. We will stand for this God we believe. He called his counselors, he was shocked. And he said, what? And then he passed a decree. He said, going forward, if anybody in this palace messes with the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, hey, I like that. The same Nebuchadnezzar, a few voices up, that said, because you refuse to worship the image, I will destroy you. It's the same Nebuchadnezzar coming down a few verses down, and he said, today, going forward, if anyone speak against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, I will deal with them. Church, the war is not going to change until you and I change. The world is not going to see the picture of Jesus Christ until you and I make up our mind. You know why the world is not being saved? You know why people are not coming to Jesus? Because you're not different from them. You go to the same party to go to. You drink from the same liquor bottle they drink from. You go to the same hotel. They see each other and they say, look at them, bunch of hypocrites. The world is not going to change because you and I give a very negative picture of Jesus. Preach, Pastor Ernest. I'm doing my best. The second thing that happened in this text, the king acknowledged Jesus. Acknowledged the Son of God. He said, if you don't compromise, church, God will be lifted in the midst. What happened in verse 28? God was lifted. I'm closing. Church, do not allow the system, their golden image, and their gods to scare you. We need some Christians like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. My request today is step it up. Don't compromise the standard. Don't fall into it. No matter where you are, you can be in the dark alone. You can be alone. Some of your husband is scared for you to travel. Some of them, your wife so scared for you to make a trip. Y'all got to check in 5 times in an hour. Oh, baby, I just make it to the hotel. Oh, baby, I think I'm going down for lunch now. Oh, I'm on my way to the meeting. That's too much work. I don't even want to call me 5 times when I go out of town in 1 hour. I'm a business. You should trust me. But the moment we look around, nobody around is like a free cat. Hey, nobody here, no church here, nobody here. Then you're jumping left off. Compromise the standard. I'm not talking about nowhere. I'm talking about people outside there. I'm not talking about nobody here. People outside there, I'm talking about. See, I guess the pastor gave it up. I'm talking about the church outside. Compromise our standard. We need some boys like this in the Senate. We need some people that are in our courthouses. We need some people that are in our justice system. We need some people in our in Congress. We need people that will stand up for Jesus. The reason our government is not changing because nobody wants to stand. You're just a bunch of scary people. I can tell Trump in the face, the day you ever change this country from worshiping God, well, Trump loves God, as he professed to say. Yeah, to a certain extent, you love God, he loves Israel, you love Israel, you love God. But the day America reached to a point where they say no one can worship God here, that the day I'm packing my bed out of this country. Because you know what? You have to stand up for something. Amen. If you don't stand up for something, you will answer to everything. If people don't know everything about you, what is the one thing good they know about you? That when they call your name, someone will say, you can say everything else about that girl, but when it comes to the one, she ain't gonna do that. I can put my head on a chopping board. What is the one thing that people can know you about when it comes to your faith in God? That they will say, oh no, that's not her. And the whole community can come together and say, no, that's not her. What is the one thing about your God that people can look at? And the last thing, if you don't compromise your standard, you're going to be promoted. What happened in verse 1? In verse 30, the Bible says, King Nebuchadnezzar looked at me, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He said, I will promote you guys to the next level. Church, the only reason you are not promoted is because you compromise it. I guarantee you, when you stand for God, wherever you are, God will promote you. Stand up for God in your work, He will promote you. Stand up for God with your friends, He will promote you. Your friends will come to you for answers. Just have a standard. When they struggle in a relationship, they will call you. When life is getting hard for them, they will call you. The reason they can't call you because y'all talk the same talk, Y'all walk the same walk. Y'all speak the same way. That when they're looking for someone, when they're looking for a crime partner, they're looking for you. Set a standard. When they're ready to cause trouble, the next person that comes to their mind, is it you? Or if they need some help, they say, you know what? Let me go call my sister. Even though we used to laugh at her, say she's too much God. Right now, I think she's the only person I can call. Set a standard, they will promote you. Let us stand to our feet. I think I'll be done at 1 o'clock.
He said 12:45. He said 12:45.
Okay, today's overtime. How about that? Ain't some of y'all came 11:15? Yeah. Okay, then let me continue a little bit. I'm going ahead. Yeah. I'll stop here for today. But what I'm saying, in actuality, you need to have a standard. You need to have a standard. If you don't respect yourself, no one's going to respect you. If you carry yourself cheap, people will take you cheap. One of the guys I always used to listen to was the late Marsh Moreau. The man would be invited to meetings just for the man to talk. The man charged for $400 for a while. Just for him to lecture you about your own life. And you went somewhere, the other person said, you're too expensive. He said, okay, I'm out of here. He said, when you're going, they call him back. So we got a deal. They may talk to corporations just for him to talk. The late Dr. Miles Monroe, just for him to talk. $500, $600, $700 for 1 hour. Some of you are making $12, $13 at your job because you allow your manager to do it to you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The first thing, after the interview, some higher, how much is my pay? Can we negotiate my salary? They said no, they said I'll get back to you. We said I was so cheap. And trust me, if the son will give you $18, you say cheap will give you $15. If you don't know your self-worth, someone will tell you how much you worth. There you go. If you don't know your self-worth, somebody will tell you. From that text, I want you to walk out of here today. If anybody driving you crazy, let them know, you know what? I'm going to cut this. Cut. He said, so many of y'all, you need to cut some people. Cut some numbers. Some of y'all don't know how to be lonely. That's why you get a bunch of foolish number in your phone. You don't know what it means to be alone and to ease yourself and enjoy yourself. The same people doing you wrong 2-3 years, they stay your buddies. Something wrong with you. They're causing you nothing but headache. I don't say don't love them. They're causing problem in your marriage. They're causing problem in your home. They're causing what they say the worst thing with you. But those are the same people you hang out with. They're the same people you call. They're the same people you take your food and cook for them. They're the same people when you go to birthday party together. They're the same people when you go to dinner together. But when they turn around and say the worst of you, I don't need nobody to be with me for me to make my own party. I can put my movie on and crank my surround sounds and have the best fun ever. You gotta cut some stuff up. You gotta have a standard. You know what? I'm 30 now. I'm not gonna be doing the 20-ball stuff. I'm not gonna be going around hurting girls anymore. I'm in my 35. Come on now. I'm not gonna be, I'm a changing boyfriend until I'm in my 30 now. Come on. Make some solid decision for yourself. I don't know where you are today. I don't know. You see your pastor tough. I know some of you say I'm tough. But I love you. There's tough love. Set a standard. Let us pray. I don't know where you are today. I don't know where you are compromising in your life. But you can set a standard. Amen. And this sermon, I'm not excluded. People think when we preach, we mean that we that preach, we better know. We just have the opportunity to preach to you. Set a standard for yourself, your family, your marriage, your home, your job. Whatever you need to set a standard for. Central Mission in Abednego, because they set a standard, God will promote it. And God was acknowledged and they were promoted. God want to promote you. God want to be acknowledged in your life. What's the standard? What do you want people can say about you? With all eyes closed and all hands down. You can come to the front. Let us pray. Say, Pastor, I haven't been sent there stand up for myself. I haven't been loving myself so much that I gave myself out so easy that people take advantage of me. Today you can set a standard. You don't deserve to be abused. You don't deserve to be hated. You don't deserve to be talked to anyway. You don't deserve to be mistreated. You don't deserve to be called an outcast. Set a standard. God loves you just as you are. You don't need to get into the system to be accepted. Set a standard. Someone to go into work. Set a standard. Set a standard so that your kids will see that they will live with standard as well. God loves you, church. God loves you just as you are. God loves you just as you are. It's not too late to set a standard for yourself. Tell yourself, in yourself, I'm not going to do certain things that will not glorify God. Father, I thank you for this day. I don't know who you sent the word for today. I don't know who's in the congregation need this word today. I don't know who life need to change and need to set a standard for themselves. Just as Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego stood up for the Lord, and the Lord delivered them from the hands of Nebuchadnezzar. Wherever Nebuchadnezzar is in the life of my people today, I pray that, Lord God, you will set them free. Whatever darkness, whatever dark areas, whatever it is that bothering them, whatever it is that's allowing them to settle for less, Lord, they are your children. They can do better. And help them to fight those devices that are causing them to not set a standard. Lord, we all have fallen in areas that we haven't set a standard. We all have given in to things that we shouldn't have given into. Have mercy on our lives and be gracious to us, Lord God, and be merciful to us. As we live for you, Lord God, no matter the pressure, no matter the tension, no matter what we have to face, no matter what we have to deal with, we set the standard. Because, Lord, with our stand-up, people will respect us. With our stand-up, people will know that we are people of substance. I pray that you will leave this place with your people. I love you, God, and I bless you in Jesus' name. Let me just grace you. With the power and authority invested in me as a child of God, as a servant of the Most High. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you this week. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you this week. In Jesus' name.